It's now 6 p.m. I'd like to call to order the Regional Planning Commission business meeting for Thursday, June the 13th. And as we always do at our meetings, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll ask Mr. Kennedy if he'll lead us in it, please. Thank you, sir. I ask if you have a phone that you either put it on vibrate or turn it off for the meeting so it don't disturb us while we're going into it.
Mr. Chair, can I just make a statement that I was not here last week, but I did look at and listen to the whole meeting online.
Thank you, Denise. Sarah, I'll come to you now for roll call and determination of quorum.
Mr. Peterman?
Present.
Mr. Servan?
Present.
Mrs. Karcher?
Present.
Mr. Galvary?
Here.
Mr. Mills?
Present.
Mr. Davis? Is absent. Mr. Jester?
Here.
So you have 6 present. You do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. You also have in front of you, Commissioners, the agenda for tonight's meeting. If there's no additions, deletions, or changes, I'll entertain a motion and a second for approval.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion. Sarah, call the commission.
Mr. Peterman?
Yes, approved.
Mr. Servan?
Yes to approve.
Mrs. Karcher?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Galvary?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Mills?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Jester?
Yes to approve.
So you have 6 yeas in favor of approving tonight's agenda.
Thank you once again. Also in front of you tonight, you have the approval for the minutes of May 9th, 2024. Once again, if there's no corrections, additions, or anything to those, I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Sarah, call the commission.
Mr. Peterman?
Yes, approved.
Mr. Servan?
Yes to approve.
Mrs.
Yes to
Karcher?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Galvary?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Mills?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Jester?
Yes to approve.
Here.
Commissioner Davis has joined the meeting.
I think Mr. Davis has arrived online. Am I correct, Mark?
Yes.
Thank you very much. You also see what the levy court action was and our recommendations. If you have any questions about those particular projects, please contact the planning office. First on our old business tonight is Artist Drive Solar, LLC, Jones, J. Richard, and Joan Mead. We have to take it off the table first, so I'll entertain a motion to bring it off the table.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to bring it off the table. Poll the commission.
Mr. Peterman?
Yes.
Mr. Servan?
Yes.
Mrs. Karcher?
Yes.
Mr. Galvary?
Yes.
Mr. Mills?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Jester?
Yes.
So you have 7 yeas in favor of taking the application off the table.
Okay, now we'll get into that particular application, which is C-23-10. It's a request for conditional use approval of a community energy generating facility located outside the growth zone overlay district. I see they've done their homework. I think they've done what we've asked them to do as far as getting with the conservation district, and it looks like they have a plan in place. I'm satisfied with what they're recommending. Does any of the commissioners have anything they'd like to say? If not, we'll go ahead and get into the motion. Well, it's all in our packet where we have the drawings and have that in there. They met with Jared Atkins and excuse me? No, this here is the Artist Drive Solar. So I think they've done a good job. I think their representative is on the phone and not at house. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. This is Claire Habel speaking, the project developer for this application. I'm present as well as our civil engineer and our outside engineering consultant.
I see you did your homework, what we asked you to do about doing the drainage work with the Conservation District. We also received your Greenleaf letter, which I can't talk tonight, I'm sorry. But we thank you very much for going along with our wishes and our recommendations.
Thank you, sir.
I will now ask the commission, somebody'd like to make a motion. to move on this particular application? Denise?
I move that the Regional Planning Commission recommend conditional approval of application C-23-10, a community energy generating facility located outside the growth zone overlay district, and this is based on Exhibit A, staff recommendation report dated March 7th, 2024, and Exhibit B, public hearing testimony dated March 7th, 2024, and the findings of facts that A, the subject site is zoned AC, agricultural conservation, and subchapters 205-53 permits community energy generating facilities as a conditional use. B, the location is appropriate and not in conflict with the comprehensive plan. C, the public health, safety, and general welfare will not be adversely affected. And D, the plan complies with the conditions of subchapter 205-73. Pursuant to chapters 187 and 205 of the Kent County Code, and pursuant to 9 Delaware subchapters 4802 and 4811, the Commission has reviewed the application and the March 7th, 2024 staff recommendation report, and furthermore, as part of this approval, the applicant shall apply with all staff and agency recommendations as described in the March 7th, 2024 staff recommendation report, including but not limited to the following conditions. A, the perimeter fencing be a minimum of 7 feet in height, shall be designed to allow small animals and birds to move under or through the fenced areas. Gates shall be installed on multiple sides of the fence perimeter to allow egress for deer. And B, any artificial lighting shall be designed so that lamps and reflectors have cut-off shields and use down lighting so that direct lighting does not illuminate the nighttime sky and is not visible from beyond the project site. All lighting shall be of the minimum necessary brightness, consistent with operation safety and security, and should have automatic controls such as timers, photo sensors, or motion detectors. C, ground cover shall consist of a native pollinator seed mix that includes a variety of herbaceous plants and grasses. And D, drainage improvements as detailed in the May 8, 2024 letter from the Kent Conservation District shall be installed and approved by the district.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Sarah, call the commission.
Mr. Peterman?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Servon?
Yes to approve.
Mrs. Karcher?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Galbraith?
No.
Mr. Mills?
No.
Mr. Davis?
No.
Mr. Jester?
Yes.
So you have 4 yeas, 3 nays in favor of recommending conditional approval of application C-2310.
Thank you, and thank you for addressing our concerns, and good luck with your project.
Thank you, commissioners. Have a nice evening.
We now go to new business. First on new business tonight is C-24-03, DEL 016-419 Jackson Ditch Road, LLC. It's a request for conditional use approval of a community energy generating facility, solar, located inside the growth zone overlay district. They made a great presentation last week, and it looked like they were staying away from all the issues that might have been questionable. And I think, Mr. Garvey, they satisfied you about the salamanders and whatever else was on the site.
Yes, they did.
So that's very good. So we're now going to get into motions. And I think you asked me that you'd like to do the motion.
Yes. I move that the Regional Planning Commission recommend conditional approval of application C-24-03, a community energy generating facility located inside the Growth Zone Overlay District. This is based on Exhibit A, staff recommendation report dated June 6, 2024, Exhibit B, public hearing testimony dated June 6, 2024, and the findings of fact that A, the subject site is zoned AR, agricultural residential, and subchapter 205-53 permits community energy generating facilities such as conditional use. B, the location is appropriate and not in conflict with the comprehensive plan. C, the public health, safety, and general welfare will not be adversely affected. D, the plan complies with the conditions of subchapter 205-73. Pursuant to chapters 187 and 205 of the Kent County Code and pursuant to 9 Delaware chapters subchapter 4802 and 4811, the Commission has reviewed the application and the March 7th, 2024 stack of recommendation report, and furthermore, as part of this approval, the applicant shall comply with all staff and agency requirements as described in the March 7, 2024 staff recommendation report, including but not limited to the following conditions. A perimeter fencing of minimal 7 feet in height shall be designed to allow small animals and birds to move under or through the fenced area. Gates shall be installed on multiple sides of the fence perimeter to allow egress for deer. B, any artificial lighting shall be designed so that lamps and reflectors have cutoff shields and use down lighting so that direct lighting does not illuminate the nighttime sky and is not visible from beyond the project site. All lighting shall be of minimal necessity brightness consistent with the operation, safety, and security, and shall have automatic controls such as timers, photosensors, or motion detectors. C, ground cover shall be consistent of native pollinator seed mix and include variety of herbaceous plants and grasses. D, the applicant shall coordinate with the Department of Natural Resources or the Delaware Nature Conservancy to determine if habitat for the tiger salamander is present in the project area.
Thank you for the motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Sarah, call the commission.
Mr. Peterman?
Yes, approved.
Mr. Servon?
Yes to approve.
Mrs. Karcher?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Galvary?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Mills?
Yes, to approve.
Mr. Davis?
Yes, to approve.
Mr. Jester?
Yes to approve.
So you have 7 yeas in favor of recommending conditional approval of application C 2403.
Thank you all, and good luck with your project. Next tonight, under new business, is SLV-24-17, Daniel A. Burris. Location is 0.25 plus or minus acres on the south side of Kitshomick Road, 117 feet west of South Bay Drive, east of Dover. The applicant owner is Mr. Daniel A. Burrows, 608 Windsor Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware, 19804. Zoning district is AR, agricultural residential. Present use is vacant. Proposed use is residential. Relation to the growth zone is outside. Levy Court District is Mr. Angel. And the nature of this request is the applicant request a waiver from 187-77D wetlands areas. No buildings or structures, impervious surface, fill, obstruction to drainage, or land disturbance shall be situated nearer than 25 feet to a delineated wetlands area. I think he's really supplied us with quite a bit of information through not only his letter, but his drawings and all like that, and I think all my questions have been answered. So I will ask the commissioners. I don't think you guys, nobody has any questions. I will then get to a motion. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I move the regional.
Mr. Mills.
SLV-24-17 Boris Daniels A. Motion, I move that the Regional Planning Commission grant approval of the application SLV-24-17, a waiver from the 187-77D wetlands area to permit the construction of a 3-bedroom addition that will counter level over the buffer and the 6x12 covered deck and the stairs from this deck to the ground. This is based on the memorandum from the staff dated June 6, 2024, and the facts that the proposed improvements result in only a minimal infringement.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Sarah, call the commission.
Mr. Peterman?
Yes, to approve.
Mr. Servon?
Yes to approve.
Mrs. Karcher?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Galvary?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Mills?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Davis?
Yes, to approve based upon staff recommendation, also the reports that were submitted.
Mr. Jester?
Yes to approve.
Sir, you have 7 yeas in favor of granting approval of application SLV 2417.
Thank you all, and good luck with your project. Next and last business on our business tonight is the SL-23-02, Garrison Lake Green 2, request revision of the conditions of approval requiring written approval from the owner of the adjacent railroad to the proposed forestry lane, allowing emergency access across the railroad tracks, and revision of the conditions that the applicant shall modify lots 4, 46, and 47 to comply with the minimum road frontage located inside the Groves Loan Overlay District. He was very well explained in the paperwork that all the commissioners have got. If we don't have any questions, then I would, Sarah, you'd like to make a comment?
Just very briefly, we did get notification from the engineer late yesterday that they're no longer asking for the modification for the 3 lots, that they've been able to comply. So they're not asking for that anymore. It's exclusive to the question about the railroad.
So in other words, they were able to fit that in and lose no lot
Yep.
and all like they were concerned about.
Yep.
Okay. I have a motion in front of me. Is there somebody like to read the motion? Mr. Servon?
I move that the Regional Planning Commission grant modified approval of the request to revise the conditions of approval to SL-23-02, Garrison Lake Green Phase 2. Condition G shall be revised so that written approval of the adjacent railroad tracks is no longer required. Proposed forestry lane shall be dedicated as part of the street row and constructed at a width of 24 feet with 8 inches graded aggregate base course, topped with 6 inches topsoil and vegetative seed mixture up to the railroad property line. Condition E shall remain in its entirety. This is based upon the findings that the applicant has received no response to the multiple attempts made to contact the owner of the railroad parcel, and that the Delaware State Fire Marshal's Office has approved the development without requiring a secondary exit.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Sarah, call the commission.
Mr. Peterman?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Servon?
Yes to approve.
Mrs. Karcher?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Godfrey?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Mills?
Yes to approve.
Mr. Davis?
Yes, per staff recommendation, also the approval from State Fire Marshal's Office, I approve.
Mr. Jester?
Yes to approve.
So you have 7 yeas in favor of granting modified approval to revise the conditions for application SL 2302.
I'd like to thank the engineer for agreeing to that, and good luck with your project.
I just want to say that you must have been banging your heads against the wall trying to get a hold. I would have been.
You have no idea.
I would also say, because I deal with the railroad, I had the parking at the Delaware State Fair. We tried for 5 years to get a railroad crossing modified. So I understand your railroad
We were
dealing.
just asking for approval for emergency access, just couldn't get a hold of them, so it's,
Understood.
we appreciate your understanding.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great project. Down to public comment. I see very little public out there, and I think they've got what they wanted tonight, so there won't be any comment. Commission comments. I'd like to start off with something. We really like to thank Nancy Thompson. She has been here 1 year less than I've been on the commission, and she's done a great job with the minutes, and we're certainly going to miss her. I guess we'll have to have a new young lady that we can beat up on after she leaves, but but you pass it on to her. And I do want to meet all the commissioners after the meeting tonight. I want to talk about Mrs. Thompson. Any other commissioners have any comment? Seeing none, I'll entertain a
I
motion
just
to
like to say,
adjourn.
Mr. President,
Hold on. Wait a minute. Somebody say something?
yes, me.
Go ahead.
Me. I'd just like to say that since I'm not at the meeting, whatever the commissioners decide to do for her, I support it 100%. She's been a real good employee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Appreciate that. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Sarah, call the commission.
Mr. Peterman?
To adjourn.
Mr. Servon,
Yes to adjourn.
Mrs. Karcher.
Yes to adjourn.
Mr. Galvery,
Yes to adjourn.
Mr. Mills,
Yes to adjourn.
Mr. Davis,
Yes, to adjourn.
Mr. Chester.
Yes to adjourn. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next month.
I got a suggestion about it.